I'm a finance professional. In spite of my high earning, I did not save until the age of 50. And I realized that I have not saved anything for my life. Then the reality stared at me. I have to provide for my children's education. I evaluated all the investment options available, right from no risk to high risk. And I found that of all the investment, only two investment classes can increase my wealth within a very short time. At the time, I was getting about 2.5 lakhs. At the end of 7 years, I casually looked at my investment. I had already surpassed my retirement corpus.
Oh, wow.
So the next day, I went to my boss and said, I fire you.
Hi, sir, and thank you so much for giving us the time to speak about your great journey. Usually when we speak to people, they say that, start early and, compounding happens in long term. How did you plan that, given that you were at 50? And how did that happen in a span of just 7 years? Would love to hear about your entire journey here.
Actually, I'm a finance professional, trained in finance, and I started my career when I was 26 years of age. In spite of my high earning, I did not save until the age of 50. And I realized that I have not saved anything for my life. When my friend, by name Mr. Setu, he actually asked me while on a walk in the park, Lakshmi, what will your wife and children get if you die tomorrow? That gave me a sleepless night that day because I have not saved anything. So the next day, I chased an insurance advisor and I took a term insurance of 1 crore. So my wife and children till the previous night who would get nothing will now get 1 crore if I have to die that minute. Then the reality stared at me. I also have to retire. I have to provide for my children's education. So I began to think how to increase my wealth or my net worth. Because I had training in finance, I evaluated all the investment options available, right from no risk to high risk. And I found that of all the investments, only two investment classes can increase my wealth within a very short time. I invested in very good mutual funds, very good shares, which was evaluated by my research.
Okay, so direct equity and mutual funds, both you did.
Correct.
Okay.
I aggressively invested. At the time, I was getting about 2.5 lakhs take home.
Okay.
So I invested almost 1.5 lakhs per month. The third thing is, because of my training in finance, I could calculate how much retirement corpus I would need to retire. And I began my investment journey. And at the end of 7 years, I casually looked at my investments. I had already surpassed my retirement corpus.
Oh, wow.
So the next day, I went to my boss and said, I fire you. I told him, I have the retirement corpus to live a very good and luxurious life till I or my wife attain 100 years. So I want to do something I'm passionate about and not stick to a job. This is my journey. In 7 years flat, I could get the retirement corpus fully and I could educate my sons without taking a single pi of loan.
Wow. And you started, I think, investing around the crash, like a little before the crash,
Correct.
right?
In 2008, 6,
Yeah, so you would
7.
have seen multiple cycles in your investing.
I have seen my investment go down up to 80%.
80%?
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow.
My earning at that time was very high and therefore I did not bother much. And I knew that equity markets will come up. Though we do not know when it will come up. It may be 3 to 4 years. But within 3 to 5 years, my investments have quadrupled.
Oh, wow. So is it your belief in the inherent Indian economy?
Inherent in the investment instrument. When you do SIP, even if the market goes down, you profit. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
10,000 rupees you put. Now the value of the mutual fund per unit is 100. You get 100 units,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Supposing there's a market crash. 50 rupees it has come. The same 10,000 you put divided by 50 is 200.
Yeah.
200 units you gain. So you just go on investing like that. If the market goes down, you get more units.
Correct.
If the market goes up, you get an appreciation.
Yeah.
At the end of 5 to 7 years, the appreciation is so high that you would have accumulated a good amount of units even in the downturn.
Right.
So even in equity funds, when you invest, you should always invest in SIP rather than in one tranche, as I had invested in my initial years.
Now, given that you achieved your financial independence within 7 years, what was your portfolio allocation? And post achieving financial freedom, has it changed? What does it look like now?
80% equity mutual funds and 20% is equities.
Okay.
In high growth.
100% equity. Okay.
100% equity, which is not recommended. If since I was trained in finance, I could evaluate the risk and I could take the risk as well. After retirement, about 1 crore of my corpus fund is in post office savings. There is a senior citizen scheme which offered at that point of time when I invested 8.2. Now it is, I think, 7.6%, which is above the fixed deposit rate at that point of time. Then I had a monthly income saving scheme.
Okay.
Like that, we have got some government schemes which offers you between 7.6 to 8.5.
Okay, and then you withdraw from that debt, like the debt instruments.
No, actually, I don't withdraw anything. My wealth keeps growing because I earn enough monthly income even in retirement to actually pay off my monthly living expenses.
Oh wow. Would you sort of double click on what in equity exactly? There were stocks and mutual funds, and even within mutual funds, how did you decide that you will invest into these mutual funds or these stocks?
Right. I usually do it in equity mutual funds. So to spread the risk, I make it into 2 or 3 categories. One is large and mid caps, then mid caps, then small caps, then flexi caps.
So across these 4 categories, you were primarily invested, but then there is HDFC, SBI, Nippon, and so many. Like, how did you choose? What is the framework of choosing which scheme do I want to invest in?
Basically, there are 2 things. One is returns. Another is risk. Returns means how consistent the fund house is giving the return. So in the last 10 to 20 years, which fund has given the consistent return, not the best returns?
Yeah.
Consistency is measured by a measure called standard deviation. First, we pick whichever has given consistently double-digit returns over the last 20 years.
Okay.
Among them, we rank on the basis of standard deviation.
Okay.
Then we consider another criteria called alpha.
Okay.
Alpha is nothing but how much the fund has returned over the index.
Okay.
Nifty 50 is an index for large and mid cap.
Okay.
So large and mid cap has returned 15% and the fund has returned 17%. Then 2% is the alpha. Another risk, this thing is called how volatile they are. How do they change when the markets change? It is measured by another evaluation criteria called beta. There are 100 funds I have chosen. Standard deviation is the lowest I give 100 marks and the highest I give 1 mark.
Okay.
Alpha also same thing. The more alpha I give 100 and 1.
Understood.
Beta also same thing. And then I calculate the marks and average it. Then a rank will come.
Okay.
So you select the first rank.
Okay, got it. Super interesting session. Thanks so much